morning, Sharon. Happy Sunday. Hope you're having a good weekend. Weather seems to be a little nicer than we had originally expected. I remember looking at the forecast for the week and it just was like cloudy and rain all weekend, and yesterday was beautiful and today seems to be at least starting out pretty nice. So anyway, good morning. Yeah, I know it's Sunday already. Can't believe it. But thank you for joining me this morning. I am already a little bit sweaty. I was having some tripod issues, and so hopefully the phone will stay steady in the tripod for the whole class. It's not holding it very well right now. So anyway, good morning. Welcome to Yin. I'm glad you guys are able to join. And I think actually had to, but maybe it's just you and I, Sharon, but that's okay. As you know, this will be recorded and you'll be able to access it later. So if the 10 a.m. time frame doesn't work, maybe a little bit later. But anyway, let's go ahead and get started. I think we're gonna start off in child's pose. So let's just come to the back of the mat. Starting off in our child's pose, let's take the knees to the edges of the mat so that the knees are wide, so that our torso has a little bit more room to sink down toward the mat. So I will come on back and get started. So the knees come to the edges of the mat, hips on the heels, and then just press the torso down toward the earth. Hopefully you guys can hear the music. Let's just take several breaths here. So try to relax. I know it's still morning. We get to have this nice 45-minute practice before we begin with the rest of our festivities of the day. So thank you so much for joining. And just settle into your posture and begin to find your breath. So slow down the mind, let go of any thoughts, cares, worries about the day. Just narrow your focus down to the tip of the nose and notice the sensation of the inhale and the exhale. Follow the breath all the way in through the nose, down into the lungs. Watch it circulate through the lungs, distributing oxygen to the blood, and then watch your breath flow back up and out through the nose. It's a good time to take a few moments here and do a body scan head to toe. As you know, in our Yin practice, we're going to be holding these postures for a longer period of time. So here in the beginning, a little body scan to notice any areas where you may be holding tension, tightness. So you can find those areas to focus on or pay attention to as we go into all the different postures. Be mindful of the breath. Notice the lungs as they expand fully, taking in as much air as possible. Expanding side to side, opening up the rib cage. And then allow the lungs to fully deflate. Emptying, press all the old stale air out, making room for the new. As you know, with our breath, not only do we draw in air and necessary oxygen, we also draw in prana, the energy, the life force around us, which is why we want to fully inhale and fully exhale.
prana back out into the universe. Let's take one more full breath here. On your next inhale, just very gently rise and come up to a tabletop. So draw the knees in. They become placed right under the hips. And then draw the palms in, press them right under the shoulders. So we're in a nice tabletop here. Fingertips are spread wide. Fingertips are gripping the mat to take pressure off the wrists. Let's begin our cat-cow, continuing that deep breath. So inhale, allow the belly to drop, lift the tailbone, and take the gaze as high as you can. And on your exhale, draw the abdominals in as you round the back, tuck the pelvis. The chin goes toward the chest. Continue this deep breath and moving through your cat-cows. Take it at your pace. Whatever your body is allowing for you today, and whatever feels good. You notice I have a towel and a block next to my mat. Just some examples of props we may use throughout class. If you're working out from home, you don't have a block, you can always use a sofa pillow, bed pillow, anything that's that may come in handy to help support you in certain postures. It's not too hard on the body. Continue through your cat-cows. Notice the flexibility of the spine, especially in the cat position. Use the abdominals to pull the spine toward the sky, but notice the space between the vertebrae. Try to use your breath to allow more space. Let's do one more. Inhale and exhale from wherever you're at. Inhale, come to a neutral spine. Heading into Sphinx Pose. So on your exhale, slowly start to walk your hands forward, lowering the hips down and start to bend the elbows. And lower yourself down so you're supporting yourself with your elbows. Shoulders stacked right on top. Forearms are straight out in front of you. Palms are relaxed. Take some time here to do a body scan head to toe. So notice if the body's working, the only active part of the posture is the elbows pressing into the mat, lifting up and out of the shoulders. So allow everything else to relax. This is a time where I notice that my lower half of my body is still working. It still feels like it needs to be nice and strong. So try to soften those muscles, allow the glutes to relax. The hips fall toward the mat. Even the abdominals, just kind of allow them to let go. Take your time here in this posture. Try not to shrink down into the shoulders. Make sure you're keeping lifted, but you can allow your chin to drop toward the chest to relax the neck. Take a few moments, do your body scan, head to toe. Notice the sensations of your body in this posture. And be mindful of your breath. Continue as deeply as you can, your deep inhales and exhales. These postures can be challenging, so if you come to your victorious breath, your Ujjayi, oceanic breath, sometimes that helps endure the patience and the challenge that yin postures pose to you. Yin is as much a mental exercise as it is physical. Now, if this is not enough of a stretch for you, once you've sunken into your Sphinx pose, if you need a little deeper stretch, you can always straighten the arms and press into seal, as long as it doesn't put any kind of pressure into your shoulders. You don't sink down into the shoulders. For me, I feel it enough in the Sphinx pose. You're going to be feeling this stretch down in the bottom part of the spine, the lumbar area. Let's take one more breath here. And on your inhale, go ahead, lower down to the elbows if you are in seal pose. And then press your elbows into the mat, engage the abdominals, and begin to lift the hips and walk the hands back, sending your hips right above your knees into your puppy dog pose. So once your hips reach your knees, then lower the chest down toward the mat and reach the arms out in front of you. Now you can take this puppy dog pose in whatever deepness you want to. You notice we shifted the stretch of the lower back up just a little bit, from the lumbar up into more of the middle back in this puppy dog pose. If this is not enough of a stretch for you, you can always lift up onto the tips of the fingers to deepen the stretch through the chest, the underneath of the arms, the shoulders. And the forehead is laying on the mat. You can always move to the chin if that feels good, as long as it's not putting pressure on your neck. Take 2 more deep breaths here. On your next inhale, lower your palms down to the mat if they're not already, and begin to pull the arms back, lifting the shoulders. Bring the palms under the shoulders so you come back into your tabletop. Let's curl our toes under. Send our hips to the sky. Come into your downward facing dog. Woo! First downward facing dog of the day. Let's pedal out the feet. Press one heel, then the other down. Keep the abdominals drawn in as you're lifting the hips to the sky. Relax the neck. Maybe shake the head yes or no. Just to find a little relaxation in the neck as it goes long. Pull out the feet. You're going to be feeling this stretch all the way, hopefully from the heel up through the Achilles, the calves, the back of the knee, the hamstrings. And let's just take some time right now to lift up onto both sets of toes. Draw the belly in, keep the hips high, chest toward the thighs, and then lower the heels down. Press into the heels, full breath here. On your inhale, bring your right foot up to the outside of the right pinky. And drop the back knee. So we're setting up for our dragon or lizard lunge here. So the back knee is dropped. The front knee is stacked over the front ankle. Place your palms on your knee. Lifting the torso, take a deep inhale, gaze goes high. And on your exhale, place both hands on the mat for your dragon lunge. So the purpose of this is going to be opening up through the quad hip flexor psoas, as well as the adductor and the glute on the right side. If this is not enough of a stretch, because we're going to be here for a couple of minutes, if it's not enough of a stretch for you, you can take a block, coming down to the forearms, or you can always come all the way down for your lizard lunge. You can even wrap the right arm around the right ankle if that feels comfortable for you. You can allow the chin to drop toward the chest. Take a little time here. Do a body scan. Notice what your body's feeling. Remember, we're looking for a challenge in our stretch, not pain. Again, remember to always return to your breath. Yin can be a very challenging process, a very challenging practice, especially for the mental aspect, the slowing down, and the patience that Yin requires of us. Let's take one more full breath here. On your next inhale, place the palms on the mat if they're not already, and begin to walk the right foot over toward the left side of the mat. We're going to find our pigeon posture, our half pigeon. So the right knee comes to the outside edge of the mat, and take your leg at whatever angle you can stretch it at. You want your hips to be square to the mat, chest to be square. So we're not going to lean over one side or the other. We're going to be nice and square toward the mat. It's a good time to take a towel or a block to support the right hip if necessary, to keep it in line and keep it square. Take a deep breath in as you open the chest, roll the shoulders back and down, and exhale, hinge forward at the hip. So you may be right here on your stretch, that's okay. If so, if you're on your elbows, please take a block or a pillow and allow your head to, your forehead to press onto it so that your neck is relaxed. You don't want your neck to be suspended here in this posture. You want something to give it some support. So stand the block, however, even if you're up here. If you're up here, that's okay. I just want your neck to not have any pressure on it. Or You can come down a little farther. Lay the forehead on your stacked hands, or even reaching out. Whatever level you're at, just offer that to yourself today. Don't try to push into anything that's going to be too painful for you. And if you have supported your hip with a pillow or a blanket or a block, and you notice as you're doing your body scan that your hip is relaxing and allowing to open up a little bit more, you can always begin to kind of shift that towel a little further away so that you can maybe sink a little bit deeper into it. Take one more full breath here. On your next inhale, press your palms into the mat, gently lifting the chest. And draw the right knee in toward the middle of the mat. The left knee pulls up directly behind it. As you come into your cow face pose, if you need to, you can place a block or a blanket under the hips. You want your sits bones to be on the mat. Lift up nice and tall, the crown of the head reaching toward the sky. Nice tall spine. This is difficult. I know it's not an easy posture. Just come to it the best way you can. If you can't stack the knees, that's okay. Just come to it however best you can. Give yourself whatever support you need. Inhale, reach the arms up overhead. And on your exhale, take the right hand or the right arm under the left and find your eagle arms. So if you didn't know already, this might be the first clue that yin is not necessarily a complete relaxation practice. Yin is restorative, but it's also challenging. So let's sink down into our cow face pose here. Press your elbows down, but also pull back on your shoulders. So notice your shoulder blades and kind of just try to make sure that you're pulling them back behind you as you're lifting your spine. So you're feeling a nice stretch through the shoulders and the lats. And again, make sure that your both sits bones are on the mat. Trying to keep this hips square. Just find your breath, ujjayi breath if necessary. Either way, just deepen the breath. Focus there. Body scan head to toe. Talk to your muscles. Allow them to relax. I will tell you, when I first started doing yin, which was a few years ago, I could not sit my hips down comfortably in between my legs like this. It was very painful because I was not very flexible this way. So I always sat on a block, which alleviated just a little bit of the stretch. And just with time, I'm still not extremely flexible, but with time, I have been able to just adjust and deepen the stretch a little bit more every practice. So one more full breath here. On your next inhale, just gently unwind the arms, reach them up overhead. Woo. On the exhale, the right hand drops to the side and the left arm reaches up and over. A nice side bend here. And then inhale, both arms back up. Exhale, left hand down, right arm up and over. Beautiful. Inhale, both arms reach high. And exhale, release the hands down. Unwind the legs. We're coming into a seated forward fold. So, straight legs out in front of you. Sits bones on the mat. Flex the feet. So when you flex the feet, you might be able to get to the point where your heels lift up off of the mat. If not, that's okay. Don't worry about it. And this is also an area where if you have a strap or a block, I'm just going to show you, for example, with my Pilates ring, just because it's handy. Place it around and pull if you're not able to reach your toes with your hands. So just use any kind of modification you need to. So inhale, reach the arms up overhead, nice tall spine. Draw the belly in as you exhale, hinge at the hips and reach for the toes. Woo. Just allow gravity to help you in this posture. You can drop the chin toward the chest, just take your time here. Notice the sensations, notice what you're feeling, the backs of the legs. Try to really allow them to relax and soften. Notice your breath. Has it quickened, or are you still able to fully inflate and deflate the lungs? One more full breath here. On your inhale, release your toes. Start to stack the vertebrae, one on top of the other. Roll the shoulders up toward the ears and release them back behind. And let's come back to our tabletop. Do everything we just did on the left side. So, a tennis ball appeared. Okay. You never know what's going to happen when you're teaching from home. All right. Tabletop, knees under hips, palms under shoulders. Curl the toes under, press the hips into your downward facing dog. Just do a couple little pedals here of the heels. A little bit looser now than we were the first time we did our downward facing dog. So press the heels down and then just allow the heels to drop one side to the other. So you're kind of wagging your tail here, side to side. You may notice this in the side body and the hips, whatever works. Hopefully it feels good. That's the point in this one. All right, let's find some stillness. Press both heels down. Draw the belly in, chest toward the thighs, deep breath in. Deep breath out. Inhale, pull the left foot forward to the outside of the left pinky and drop the right knee. You may adjust your leg so you can get that knee over the ankle. Both hands come up onto the knee. Hips are square. Draw the breath in as you lift your chest and your heart toward the sky. Exhale, hands to the mat. Dragon lunge. Options. Take it as deep as you want to here. You can stay here, feel free. If this is even difficult for you, use the block and come up. If you're feeling too much pressure on your wrists, this is a good idea. I'll show you. You just kind of hold the block like this. It takes a little bit of pressure off, or you can even come up onto your knuckles. Sometimes it's easier to use the knuckles on the block than it is on the mat, but it's really up to you. Again, we don't want to be in pain, and our wrists are certainly not what needs our attention in this posture. So make it as comfortable as you can for your wrists or your shoulders or your elbows, because really what we're wanting is this deep stretch through the glute, the adductor, hamstring, quad hip flexor. So that's the important part. So I don't want you to be distracted by pain in other areas. So just make it yours. One more full breath here. And on your next inhale, place your palms on the mat if they're not already, and begin to walk heel toe the foot over to the right side of the mat, dropping the left knee down. Just sinking in with the hips, getting them nice and square toward the mat, finding whatever support you need. Right there. Whatever works for you here. Nice and square, chest is open, shoulders back and down, deep inhale. Exhale, lower the chest, hinging at the hip, lower the chest toward the mat, and find whatever works here for you. Again, you may not be the same on one side versus the other, which is okay for a while, but you do want to get to a point where it's even. But it's very natural for us to be tighter on one side than the other. So again, just find that point of challenge, not pain, and allow your neck to relax. One more breath here. On your next inhale, press your palms into the mat, coming up very gently. And you remove whatever support. Pull the left knee toward the center of the mat, and then bring the right knee up behind. I'm going to turn to face you and set the hips down. In between, allow your hips to settle in. Inhale, reach the arms up overhead. Exhale, the left arm swings under the right, finding your eagle arms. Now, if this is not comfortable, I should have shown you this modification before. This is not comfortable, you can always just wrap your palms around your shoulders. It's up to you. Try to keep the elbows stacked over the knees. Relax, spine is tall, chin is parallel to the mat, so we're not gazing up or down. Spine is neutral. Relax into the posture. Pull the shoulders down and behind you. Heart and bow, please. One more full breath here. And on your inhale, unwind the arms, reach the arms up overhead. Exhale, release the left hand down, right arm reaches up and over, big side bend. Apparently, Bo doesn't think people should be able to mow their lawn on a Sunday morning. Inhale, reach both arms up overhead. Exhale, right hand down, left arm reaches up and over. Big side bend. Beautiful. Inhale, both arms high. Exhale, release the hands down to the side. Unwind the legs gently. We're going straight into our frog pose because I don't know if you guys know, but it's my favorite posture. And we've been externally rotating those hips, so we're going to do a little internal rotation here. So, hands and knees, right? Long edge of the mat, and just allow your knees to go out as wide as possible. Get that tennis ball out of the way. The knees go wide. Your hips are in line with your knees or back just a little bit. Once your knees find the spot where your hips are going to be like, okay, that's enough, you want to be at about a 7 or 8 on a scale of 1 to 10 in terms of pressure and the ability to feel like you could go any farther. You don't want to go as far as you possibly can and not get back. So once you're at about a 7 or 8 in the way it feels, make sure your toes are turned out so the inside of the foot is facing the floor, and then your back is flat, and you just bend your elbows, come down, use a block, whatever is necessary, just as long as you keep your chest square and the back flat. Don't round. You can come down to your elbows, you can lay all the way down, just settle in here, allowing this nice stretch with the hips. It's a good time to do a body scan, head to toe. Notice the difference you feel in this stretch versus a pigeon or cow face. Take one more breath here. Fabulous. Carefully begin to come out of your frog pose by drawing your ankles or your heels in closer together, lifting up onto your hands, and then pulling your knees in. Very good. All right, let's come on down. So, you can hang on to the back of the knees if you want, but you want to articulate down very slowly, engage the abdominals, lowering down onto the back. Draw your knees in, roll side to side. Let's take a nice little spinal twist here. So allow the knees to come up over the hips, drop them down to one side, just to get a little supine, supine twist. Stuff is everywhere. Okay, gaze over the opposite shoulder. And then gently draw the knees in above the hips. And exhale, allow the knees to drop to the other side and gaze over the opposite shoulder. Very good, one more breath. On your inhale, draw the knees in, pull them in close toward the chest. So you might feel a little pinch in that hip flexor, maybe lifting the tailbone off of the mat just a little bit. Draw your forehead up to your knees. Give yourself a big hug. Wrap your forearms around your shins. Get up nice into a tiny little ball, the tiniest ball that you can get into. Take a deep inhale. As you exhale, release everything out onto the mat. Just take a 1 minute savasana here. So feel the heaviness of the body. Just notice the pull of the earth. Allow gravity to just hold you. Allow all the energy to drain out of you so that you just become a heavy burden on the earth. The only movement you feel is the rise and fall of the chest, beat of the heart. Begin to wiggle fingers and toes. Give the ankles a circle or two in the wrists. And take your time paying attention to your breath. Just begin to find your way to a comfortable seat. So you can roll over onto one side. Use the strength of the arms to press up and come to a comfortable seat. Please take your right hand, place it on your heart. Your left hand goes on top of the right. Gently drop the chin toward the chest. It has been an honor to be your guide through this Yin practice today. Thank you so much for joining me on this holiday weekend. I miss seeing you in person. I can't wait till we can connect live in person again sometime soon. But until then, I am so grateful for this connection and for the ability to be with you virtually, the ability to practice, to continue to stay healthy, stay well by your side. So thank you so much for practicing with me. And until I see you again, namaste. Thank you guys so much. I'm gonna scoot up so I can see you more. Sharon, thank you so much. I'm glad that you were able to join me today, this Sunday. As you know, we will keep this on our Facebook page, Grace Yoga Studio Facebook page, and then I think Jen uploads them to YouTube also. So thank you. You're welcome, Sharon. Thank you so much for being here. You take care too. Stay safe and enjoy the sunshine. Have a great day and a great rest of your weekend. Bye.